Hello, boys and girls. Greg from the Scary Spirits podcast here to make you another cocktail. This week's cocktail is the Frankenstein's Monster. And as always, this is the featured cocktail in today's episode. I'm going to start with a mixing glass. To that, we're going to, instructions say, add 1/4 of an orange and muddle. I do not have any oranges, but I do have orange juice. And the equivalent of a 1/4 orange is about 1 ounce of juice. So we'll do about 1 ounce. Next, we're going to add lemonade, 1 cup. Vodka, 1 ounce. Pineapple rum, 2 ounces. It's a lot of rum, but I ain't mad. Next, melon liqueur, 2 ounces. This is a big drink. Finally, a splash of blue lightning, which is blue raspberry mix. I don't have any of that, but I have some blueberry raspberry Crystal Light, so I'm going to give it a squirt. Then we mix. It is a lovely color green, boys and girls. Kind of moss green. Next, we pour it into our glass with ice. Look at that, boys and girls. Like I knew what I was doing. Yeah, it's pretty good. Thanks for watching. Hope you enjoy the podcast. See ya.
If, for some reason, you are, hypothetically, of course, planning to do some sort of illegal activity, especially of the mad scientist lab variety, you can learn a few lessons from this week's episode of the Scary Spirits podcast. Hammer's 1969 film, Frankenstein Must Be Destroyed. First, choose loyal friends, not blackmailed ones. You need your ride or die people for this one. Ones that know where the bodies are buried. Not fly-by-night blackmailed peeps. They will flee or worse, fight you. Second, if you are discovered, and it is likely to happen, have an escape plan. Baron Frankenstein could vacate the premises with essential laboratory items in a matter of minutes and be on his way. So remember, everyone, loyal friends and bug-out bags. Cheers!
Welcome to the Scary Spirits podcast. Please be advised that the presenters may use adult language and/or discuss adult situations. This podcast is not intended for younger listeners or those that may be easily offended. So, if you're ready, let's go.
Hello, boys and girls. I'm Greg,
Hi, everyone. I'm Karen.
and welcome to the Scary Spirits Podcast, the podcast that combines the two very different but highly compatible worlds of scary films and alcoholic spirits.
What could possibly go wrong?
Indeed. How are you, Karen?
I'm doing great. How are you, Greg?
I'm good, Karen. Thank you for asking.
It is what we do.
Actually, I'm hot, Karen.
Oh, now you're stealing my lines.
Yes, now I'm
Just
still
wasn't I hot last week? I can't
You were
remember.
hot. You were hot, but
Yeah.
I'm hot this week.
See how fleeting that is when you're old. You're hot one week and then it's just all gone. You're not hot anymore.
It was hot
Doing
today,
thirsty
Karen.
work?
Hot
Yeah.
today. I did a little. I got done what I wanted to. So,
Yeah, we're suffering around here.
what happened to those fall couple days, Karen?
That's just what keeps us living here. Look what you could have.
Yes.
Just wait a while.
Just wait a minute. Don't like the weather? Wait a minute.
Well, it's been pretty hot and brutal.
It has. But once again,
But
we
we survived.
digress.
That's what old
Karen-
people do. They talk about the weather. It's just what, why don't you tell me what birds were at your bird feeder and how many kids were on your lawn? Let's
There was
just
a goddamn squirrel at my bird feeder. I
See?
chased it
See?
off, and then I put like white lithium grease all over the pole and everything. So,
This is where we are, people.
but enough. Karen, was this week's film my choice?
It was. And what did you choose for us?
Film I have chosen is Frankenstein Must Be Destroyed from 1969, a Hammer production.
And it was chosen because it's a Hammer production or because of something else?
Because it's a Hammer production, Karen.
Okay.
No other reason. We're almost through the Frankensteins after this.
Awesome.
I have a cocktail as well, Karen.
Of course you do. What is it?
It is called the Frankenstein's Monster.
Appropriate. Sort of.
Yeah, it is. We're going to need a splash of blue lightning, which is blue raspberry mix, 1 cup of lemonade, 1 ounce vodka, 2 ounces pineapple rum, 2 ounces melon liqueur, and 1/4 of an orange. We're going to, in a mixing glass, we're going to muddle that orange, Karen.
We do love a muddle.
Then we're going to add lemonade, vodka, pineapple rum, melon liqueur, and the splash of blue lightning. And then we're going to strain it into a glass with ice.
And enjoy.
It was a YouTube video, so I had to kind of make up the directions. So yes, enjoy.
So this was a bit of a disaster for me.
Oh,
Someone ate my orange.
I also had no orange, Karen.
That's the thing. You buy one orange, people would think that must be special. No, orange is gone. Could not find pineapple rum. So I used coconut rum,
Okay.
which
At
is
least
still
put some
tasty.
pineapple juice in.
I put a splash of pineapple juice in.
All right.
And then I put Chambord in for the blue lightning because I just
right.
was like, it's tasty. I had to make my own lemonade, and it's a bit tart, but I still like it.
So I did not have an orange either, but I used Google and I figured the juice of 1 orange or a juice of a 1/4 orange is about an ounce, a little less than an ounce probably. So I'm like, well, shit, I got orange juice. I'm just going to do that. So that's what I
There
did.
you go. That's smart.
And for the blue lightning mix, the blue raspberry mix, I had some of that Crystal Light blueberry raspberry
Yeah, I was
water
wondering
enhancer.
Yeah, if I could
just put
use that.
a good squirt of that in.
That was smart too. Yeah.
And my lemonade is actually Crystal Light lemonade as well, only it's the ones in the packets. It's delicious. I mean, it's a very lovely color green.
Yeah, it is. See,
Yeah, yours is a little lighter than mine. Mine's a little darker. Probably
would
because
guess.
of the blueberry raspberry shit.
Right. Yeah.
It's good.
It's summery.
A
It's
lot
a
of liquid.
lanai. It's lanai drink, but I like it.
All right, should we give our friends and listeners time to make their own Frankenstein's monster?
Of course.
And, if you have it, as most everyone does, you can just throw a piece of dry ice in there too, if you like.
Right.
Because
sure you
everybody's
all
got
have-
that in their
yeah.
freezer. Yeah.
Just sitting around.
Hold on. And we're back.
Yes, we are.
All right, Karen, might you have a brief synopsis of this film for us from 1969?
I do.
Go on, tell us all a story.
It's brief and pretty terrible, so parts of it are okay. The infamous Dr. Barron transplants his dead associate's brain into the body of a murdered mental patient. The bloody results end in carnage as Frankenstein is brought to life.
Thank you, Karen. We are a match. It is pretty bad, actually.
Yeah.
You should say Frankenstein's monster is, or his colleague is brought to life.
Yeah, like
Whatever.
it seems like
His
two different
associate.
things.
Yeah, it's like one
He's
sentence is
transplanting his
this
dead brain into the body of a mental patient, and Frankenstein is brought to life. It doesn't seem to mesh there, but
we've had better. We've had worse though, too.
it's true. I mean,
It's pretty down there, but all right, Karen, tell us everything you really enjoyed or were pleasantly surprised in this film starring Peter Cushing.
it's an interesting story. They are trying to mix it up more and more as they do more and more Frankenstein sequels. They have to come up with things. And so it's interesting because it stays within the Frankenstein genre of preserving life and, having it continue forever. So I give credit to the writers for coming up with an interesting story. It's Hammer, and so, we always say it, and I'm sure you guys are sick of hearing it, but the sets are good, the costumes are good. The acting is good too, I thought, for the most part. There's a little bit more humor in it than normal, but there's also a little more gore than normal. It starts off with the bang. I was like, oh, Greg's going to like this. Remember when you used to time until the first death? This one doesn't
Yes.
take long.
Nope.
Heads lopped off. It's pretty exciting there. That's really all I have.
I should have made a note of the time, but I didn't.
Yes, you should have. What did you really like?
So the very first thing I wrote down, even before I started watching it, was it's a small cast. Because I was looking at the cast, because I always write the main characters' names down so I can refer to them, right? It's a small cast. The music is good. Is that what we usually say about Hammer as well?
Not always, but you're right. The music is good and well
Yeah.
used in
Yeah.
different and nicely done with volume, softer in some scenes, and then when it gets really intense,
Suspenseful when it needs to be.
yeah, they do a
It's
nice
pretty
job
good.
with that. I would agree.
Of course, I wrote good sets. I didn't mention the costumes, but of course, good costumes. Acting is as well very good. Next thing I wrote specifically was that's a good mask. At one point, he wears a mask,
But
and it's
we
a
don't
good
know.
one,
Yes, but it goes nowhere.
especially for 1969.
True, it is a very good mask.
It looks like a silicone mask you could buy, like pay lots of money for today, and it's
Yeah.
pretty good. Sound effects I made a note of much later, but the sound effects are really good. What's the name of the person who makes all the special sound effects? There's a name for them, isn't it?
Oh,
I
I
know
don't
there
know.
is.
I should say too, of course, at the end of this, there is sequel potential for multiple reasons. The folder laying on the grass is one, and then them walking in the burning building where we don't really see the end of them.
A, f-
Spoiler.
a Foley artist
Oh, okay.
is the person who makes like the sound effects of, like people walking and whatnot.
Hmm.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Sawing into a skull.
Yes.
That's when I wrote it down. I was like, that's pretty good.
And the little when they
That
pulled
probably
off the
made people
skull.
squirm in the theater in 1969.
There was some squishiness with the brain when they pulled the skull off and stuff like that.
And the other thing I wrote down is, and you've mentioned it, I know you have specifically, is that Peter Cushing is a hell of an athlete.
Yes, he is.
I wrote Peter Cushing stunts. It's really good.
He's fighting the younger guy at one point, and I'm like, the younger guy should take him, but it's Peter Cushing.
Yeah.
And he can handle it because he is athletic.
And when I wrote that, it was when he was wearing the mask and they were in that first fight. And I'm like, well, afterwards, I'm like, well, how do I know it's him? Really? You know what I mean? But he does pull it off.
True.
But
Well, it's hard to know, but I think he does. I think he's getting more advanced in age and he's still able to do Well, he's not that old then, I guess, probably. He still has that sunken look in his face, though, that makes him look older.
Karen, he was a very spry 55. He was just a youngin.
That's that's pretty good for what he was doing. I'm still impressed. And I do have one more thing I liked about the film. I will say that I don't know if the woman who stars, is that a Hammer Glamour
Veronica
girl?
Carlson, yes, yes, she
But
is.
she actually
Karen, we
plays
have talked about her before.
an integral role. She participates in this a lot more than Hammer Glamour girls do sometimes. Like she drags a body when it needs to be dragged. She stabs, like she's involved in the story. Like, she's not just the pretty girl that they bring into scenes and stuff. And she's integral in the whole thing, which I liked too.
She's good. The acting is all very good, as we've already said. Anything else?
That's all I got.
All right. Anything you did not particularly care for, Karen?
Well, I think the younger guy, Carl,
Dr.
he looks,
Carl.
Dr. Carl looks like he's 1960s beatnik. Like I don't know why they can't pull it off. They can do it with the older actors and they can do it with Veronica.
The
Is that
women. In
Yeah,
general, they can do it with the women, with their
in
hair
general,
and
she looked
whatnot.
a little 70s, but still, the hairstyles and the stuff. But he just couldn't pull it off for some reason. It was distracting to me that he didn't look of the time. And Dr. Frankenstein is a horrible person in this. Usually you kind of root for, like, he's misunderstood. He's, just trying to be a scientist. He's an awful person in this movie. I just didn't like him at all. And every time I thought, well, he can't get any worse, he gets worse. He does horrible things in this movie. I mean, he does blackmail them, which it's interesting that before, when he has assistants, they just come in and they're like, oh, we just want knowledge. We want to be knowledgeable of your experiments when he's doing horrible experiments, right? This way, in this story, which I should have put in something I kind of liked, is he's blackmailing these people, so they have to help him. They're not necessarily interested in what he's doing. In fact, they're appalled by it, which most people would be. And in other movies, there's just these random doctors that are like, oh no, I just want to learn from you. But he's terrible. Don't you? I mean, he's egotistical and awful and just a horrible human being. So I didn't like him, which made it less palatable to watch, I think. But they're mixing it up. And the story, like I said, is they're moving away from that dramatic, lightning, he's alive kind of Frankenstein monster to a more refined. The films seem to keep becoming more refined with the monster, which I'm not sure I like. I mean, I get the story has to keep moving and it's a nice progression that way, but it's less and less of Frankenstein's monster to me. This guy's completely normal when he gets a new brain. I mean, pretty much. So I don't know. It's just kind of takes away from it a little bit, I think. Is there anything you didn't like?
Well, the first thing I wrote down, Karen, is Frankenstein's a dick in this movie.
Well, I was trying to be more polite, but yes.
He's a jerk. He's an asshole. He's bad.
Which he hasn't been in other films.
No, and none of them. We have two
So,
more to do after this, which actually follow this one. Like the next two that come after this, we have, or the
okay.
only two we haven't done at this point.
I mean,
So.
he's always been a little out there, like, radical and
But I don't even
arrogant.
know that Peter Cushing is in the other two.
No. The last film, I mean, he's getting more and more arrogant. And I noticed that in the last one. I'm like, God, he's arrogant, but he's never been horrible like he is in this movie. He's just terrible.
Well, the one immediately preceding this was Frankenstein Created Woman, which we've done, but not real recently. So I can't even remember how he was. I mean, he was just like he always is, I assume, because I don't think anything about
It
it.
didn't stand out,
All right.
right? But he's always kind of been, yes, arrogant, but the misunderstood scientist,
Yes.
right? Trying to do things for the better of mankind, kind of, not, I don't know. This one was just, he was horrible.
Yeah. He typically does not have like a god thing.
Complex, yeah.
Complex, yeah. And he really doesn't in this one either, but he's bad.
Yeah, you just don't like him.
I wrote it's a little long. There are some long scenes in it. There are a few scenes that I think, well, that should have been a lot shorter. Especially near the end is when I really noticed it, when the quote unquote creature is like traveling and getting to home and going through his library. It's just, I'm like, damn, this is taking a long time. And by now we're already over an hour
Especially
into it.
since you sort of know what's going to happen. You can kind of guess what's going to happen, and so they're dragging it out a little bit, I think.
Other thing I wrote while you were talking is that in my researching the film and kind of getting the plot, I thought there would be a lot more backstory on Dr. Carl and Dr. Brandt's relationship. Because in
Or just Dr. Brandt in general.
the plots I read, it sounded like Dr. Carl was like really concerned about Dr. Brandt, like they were colleagues and friends and whatnot. And you kind of
That
see
would have
it
made it.
when
Yeah.
that professor guy comes in and tells him, he immediately asks, "What about Dr. Brandt?" And guy tells him he's uncurable. You kind of see a little bit there, but I thought that would be played up a lot more because it kind of gives Dr. Carl a reason to go along with this whole scheme,
Right.
in addition to the blackmailing.
Yeah. Yeah. But it would also make it harder in some ways to operate on him and not knowing what's going to happen. And
It's
it
true.
would have added a lot more in a couple of aspects of the film.
Yep, that's all I wrote.
It's interesting scientifically. It's not possible, but it's interesting,
Well,
to
it's not possible yet, Karen.
yet, but well, that's what I'm saying. I don't know what the future is going to hold, and they are doing research in that area.
And I mean,
Not brain
when
transplants,
this was
but
filmed, I mean, it was kind of a thing in the news too about.
spinal cord repair is what they're doing a lot of research on, not brain transplant. But it's just kind of, people freeze their heads and all that kind of stuff. And it's been around for a long time. And it's an interesting thing to think about.
Anything else?
I don't think so.
Okay. Veronica Carlson is on page 34 in the Hammer Glamour book, Boys and
For
Girls.
those of you following along.
Yeah, well, look, I'm sure if you have the book, you are well aware of who she is because she's in it quite a bit, even not in her section.
She's a pretty woman.
Is it? And she's only in 3 Hammer films, and we've done 2 now. We have 1 left.
Oh, should we savor it? Should we save it?
Well, it's the next Frankenstein.
Oh,
It's the one that comes immediately after this one.
I thought she was dead.
I know, right? So
Ooh.
maybe it's like
Maybe
lots
she'll
of
be the.
flashbacks and whatnot. We have
I
to
don't
see.
know.
We'll have to see. Now I'm really excited because I didn't know she died in this one before I knew that she was in the next one. So I thought there might be like some direct sequel thing. All right, what kind of cocktail rating, Karen, you want to give this film?
It's a 3, I think. It's a good film. It's interesting if you don't need to watch the other films to understand this film. Obviously, there's not a lot in it that movies before it, because he didn't have, he doesn't have the tattoo or anything like that.
Well, I
But
don't know that we ever see it. I should have been paying attention. I'm sure we could have seen it when he rolled his sleeves up at least once.
it's a different take, which is what the interesting part is. So you can watch this as a standalone, but if you watch this as a standalone, you're going to hate Dr. Frankenstein.
Yeah, but I'm sure everyone is familiar with the character, so they won't miss anything.
Oh, that's true. This is not painting him in a flattering light at all.
No, this is the nastiest Dr. Frankenstein I have seen from any film.
Right. And I wonder if they were just trying to, if it was written that way, or if he wanted to mix it up a little bit, or I don't know.
I'll get to a little of that later when we're
Oh,
going through
okay.
it scene by scene. I have an excerpt to read from the Hammer Glamour book, Karen.
Awesome. All right. I think it's a 3.
I would
It's
agree.
not a, is
It's
it,
not a
it's not a
2.
bad movie.
No, but it's
Oh,
not
it's
bad
not
either. It's
near a
good.
2, but it's not a
No.
4 either.
Well, it's closer to a 2 than a 4.
I don't know. I really didn't like him.
So that doesn't mean you can't like the film or don't think it's a good film. You don't have to like the film. Is it a good film?
Well, your emotions play a little part in how you feel about the film, I think. At least mine do, and I'm allowed to pick whatever I want. Shut your cake hole. I can pick what I want, but it's a 3.
All right. Would you like to hear a review from the time, Karen?
I would. I would like to see if they noticed what a jerk he was.
The review I have is from the Village Voice, Karen, dated April 30th, 1970. But before we get into it, I have to tell you that this has a 6.7 out of 10 approval rating on IMDb, a 70% approval rating on Rotten Tomatoes.
Ooh.
What do you think Google users think, Karen?
What was what was the first one?
IMDb is 6.7.
60 and 70. I'm going to go lower because I didn't like it. I'm going to go 55.
49, Karen. It's
Oh,
even
I was
lower
like-
than you thought.
I was like, watch, it's going to be 88 or something like that.
I don't think people like Peter Cushing in this.
Well, not if you're used to Peter Cushing, right?
That's what it's got to be. That's the only thing that I think is what would make people not like this film. It's got all the other stuff. Well,
It's true.
there's no nudity. But
No, but there's some see-through nightgowns.
yes. All right. As I said, the review I have is from the Village Voice, April 30th, 1970. And it's a pretty long one. I had to screen print it from the actual newspaper archive. Lots of little text. And it's by a man named Richard Corliss. And I guess it's pretty long. I'll read about half of it. One of the things about the halcyon, I don't know, Hollywood 30s and 40s that must have made movie going as opposed to film criticism so much more enjoyable than it is today was the high level of entertainment in the middle ground, quote unquote, pictures that, as Andrew Saris says, are the strong suit of the American commercial film. Crisp action movies, 4 hanky women's pictures, fast-paced comedies. B films were the bread and butter stuff that made life bearable for moviegoers of that lamented era. Today, these one-time rhinestones can be identified as genuine gems. At this point, one turns in desperation to the mystic East, Britain. There, occasionally, one finds remnants of the civilized entertainment once taken for granted. Wit, precision, charm, eccentricity, these are qualities evident in genres as different as mysteries, romantic comedies, and horror films. The current exhibit, Frankenstein Must Be Destroyed. Frankenstein Must Be Destroyed is another piece of sausage from the mill of Hammer Films, producers of more than 100 atmospheric horror films, but what a tasty morsel it is. Shallower than the level of vermouth in a Claude Rains martini. Frankenstein Must Be Destroyed nonetheless has a wonderful breadth of characterization, delightful thrills, and philosophical speculations to boot. The caricatures really, in the Dickensian sense, are stereotypes of the richest sort, as were those played by members of Warner Brothers rep company in the war years. The actors who fill the bit parts in Frankenstein Must Be Destroyed managed to suggest the dense spectrum of characters developed over the centuries in English theater and novel. There are the bluff, blimpish boarders at the heroine's home, the choleric but cowardly burglar, the mortician who acts like a bitchy accountant. The playing reminds us of the variety possible within these theatrical conventions, not of their limitations. The chills I mentioned are even more delightful for insinuating themselves into the spine of the film's oblique but piquant message. Except for the gory opening sequence, decapitation, flame-eating face, dead man, and formaldehyde, writers Burt Blatt and Anthony Nelson Keyes and director Terence Fisher have deftly followed Hitchcock's psycho dictum. That, after the first shock, less is enough. Black, Keyes, and Fisher are essentially adept at creating in the viewer an ambiguous attitude toward the main characters, the same feeling encouraged by James Whale in the 1931 version of this tale. Neither the putative hero nor the heroine are very heroic. Our interest and, to the degree our sympathy, are focused on Peter Cushing as Baron von Frankenstein. I wasn't sympathetic to him.
I wasn't sympathetic to him either.
Cushing, who is probably the only icon of cultivated depravity an entire generation of drive-in patrons will ever know, is at times so convincing as a necessarily severe but benevolent medical Ubermensch that one almost believes his vile 19th century claim, quote, "The transplanting of all human organs is a logical extension of surgery, which your colleagues are too pig-headed to realize. In the days since Mary Wollstonecraft," was that Mary Shelley's name? Wollstonecraft?
I don't know.
In the days since Mary Wollstonecraft created Frankenstein and
Must
Whale,
be.
Karloff, and Jack Pierce created him, science has proved Frankenstein correct. The things men were not meant to know, quote unquote, are now the subjects of government-sponsored research.
Not anymore. Sorry. Cut that out.
No, I'm going to leave it in. Beyond all the personality traps and ego trips, Frankenstein Must Be Destroyed asks the philosophical questions. What happens to the memory of a man whose brain is transplanted? Is that brain the repository of all that we consider human in a person? Is the person his brain or his body? Frankenstein operates to cure Dr. Brandt, his former collaborator, of his insanity, but he has to transfer the brain to another resting place, another body. When the monster, quote unquote, Brand inevitably awakens, he stumbles around the laboratory unsure how to direct his new limbs. He is as pathetic as a man with a terrible hangover that is the result of someone else's binge. Brandt's wife, who he confronts indirectly, is short-sighted enough to reject the deep love of her husband because it is encased in the body of an unfamiliar man. And it does say here in parentheses, granted, he's no Rock Hudson or Tab Hunter. But she chooses the shell instead of the substance, and this realization of mankind's moral myopia turns Brandt finally against Frankenstein and the cult of knowledge he represents. Frankenstein must be destroyed, and destroyed he is, undoubtedly, irrevocably, eternally, in the flame of his misspent ardor for scientific mortality. But I didn't
I
say,
don't think so.
but I didn't say absolutely.
No. That's in there?
Yes. That was a pretty good review, I thought.
Yeah.
I was reading through it. I cut a lot of good stuff out about doctors and the science that was going on at the day and whatnot.
So it's interesting you said that because the reviewer says he has to transplant the brain into a new body. But all he does, he goes, I have to relieve the pressure and then take the cells out that were damaged. He could have done that in the first body. And the whole time I'm watching it, it's like, why did he have to transfer the brain? He could have done the same thing,
I think
relieving the
because the
pressure.
body was dying, because he had a heart thing there at the end.
Oh, he did have
I
a heart
think that was
attack.
his plan
Okay.
originally, was just to
Yeah,
fix
because he
him.
was just going to ask him questions and then do it. Yeah. But Dr. Brandt was all in on this until it happened to him. And then he was like, no, isn't that how it is? You know?
Yeah. The only minor surgery is one that's happening to someone else.
Yes.
All right. Before we get into it, scene by scene, Karen, I believe next week is your choice. Is it
my
not?
choice. It is.
And what film have you chosen for us next week? Pray tell.
Well, as you probably know, and some of our listeners may know, that August 30th is Mary Shelley's birthday.
Oh, look
And
at
the
there.
movie,
I could have used
the
that.
movie that I'm going to pick is obviously going to be Frankenstein themed. So I called Greg all excited. I'm like, let's do Mary Shelley's Frankenstein because Kenneth Branagh runs around all sweaty through the whole thing, and I really want to see that. And he goes, we already did that. So Greg, being the fun sponge, isn't going to let me watch Kenneth Branagh run around all sweaty again.
You can watch him
And
anytime you want. We're just not going to talk about it again.
And the funny part was I did remember later because I was like, oh, and then when we were talking about it, I said, yeah, and then Kenneth runs around all sweaty. And you said, I think I fast forwarded through a lot of that. And I said, yeah, I think I slowed it down. I remember that conversation. So we're not doing Mary Shelley's Frankenstein with sweaty Kenneth Branagh because we already did it. And Greg's a fun sponge. So I went in the total opposite
But
direction.
you can listen to it, boys and girls. Just look back for our
That's
past
true.
episodes. You'll find
It's
it.
probably last year at the same time.
Probably
I bet I
is.
picked it. We're going to go with 1958's I Was a Teenage Frankenstein, which is supposed to be so bad it's good, which is the type of movie I like and Greg hates. So we're going to see how that goes. I love those. He does not.
Do we have a cocktail for this wonderful film?
We do. We're going to have Mad Scientist cocktail recipe number 3, because we already have 2 in the recipe den, where you can find all our cocktails on the website in the recipe den. This makes 2 drinks, so keep that in mind, Greg. 4 ounces of melon liqueur, 1 ounce of lime juice, 1 ounce of lemon juice, 4 ounces of club soda. Fill 2 8-ounce beakers or flasks with ice. To each glass, add 2 ounces of melon liqueur, half an ounce of lime juice, and half an ounce of lemon juice. Stir to combine. Top each with about 2 ounces of club soda. Serve and enjoy.
Well, where's the alcohol, Karen?
It's the melon liqueur.
That's not got a lot of alcohol in it. I guess you could add a little vodka. It won't affect the taste.
You can do whatever you want. And dry ice can add fun and eerie ambiance to
I'm
the
sure it
presentation
can.
of this drink.
It always does, doesn't it?
But it'll be tasty. It's basically melon liqueur and Sprite because it's lemon, lime, and club soda
Club soda, yeah.
and melon liqueur. So you could probably just mix the melon liqueur with some Sprite and have at it. Mad Scientist cocktail recipe number 3.
All right. Well, I look forward to that, Karen.
No, you don't, but that's okay. It's funny. Well, we'll see.
It
You
might
do
be
have to
funny.
watch it, I will tell you, on YouTube. At least currently, it's not on Amazon,
What?
but it is free on YouTube.
A film of this caliber is not available on Amazon?
I don't understand it.
Why are the good films so hard to find, Karen?
I don't know, Greg. It's a mystery to me.
All right, are you ready to get into Frankenstein Must Be Destroyed scene by scene?
Yes, let's do that.
Frankenstein Must Be Destroyed, 1969. I have a lot of notes, Karen. It's a long film.
It's not
Rated-
that long, but and even though it has a small cast, it's quite complicated in the different scenes that they do.
Rated PG-13. I wrote that originally it was rated M for mature, I guess, Karen.
I'm surprised because a lot of the films you said were rated X, and this one starts off with a
Well, this one was
decapitation.
rated X in Britain
Okay.
at the time of its release. I was talking about the US rating. Did you watch this on Amazon Prime, Karen?
I did.
Yes, this is available on Amazon Prime. Film starts, we have credits. We see a guy walking down the street carrying a large can, Karen.
It's a bucket. I said that can't be good.
At first I thought it was a hat box, but I'm like, no, that looks like a can.
It's a metal bucket. Like it has the top and like
Another man gets out of a carriage, and we see the man with the can in the doorway of Dr. Otto Hendrick, something like that.
that's what it looks like, yeah. So it's a doctor's
Heinrich?
office.
Heinrich. He's hiding in the doorway, and then he pulls out I wrote a sickle. It's like a handheld sickle thing.
Yeah.
And he decapitates whoever the guy is. I guess it's Dr.
Listen, it's the
Heinrich.
doctor. So he's looking for a good brain. We find out. But I go, oh,
And-
that's what the bucket was for.
And we have lots of hammer blood.
Yes, it's bad blood.
But as the film opening, it's pretty good. I gotta say. We're not riding through the woods on a carriage.
We are not. We are not in the woods in a carriage. Those are usually the Dracula ones, though. But this one, I said, starts off with a bang, really sets the tone. We're going in.
So then we see a burglar trying to break into a house by removing the lock, question mark, I wrote.
He's already in it. It's an old mansion and cobwebs are everywhere, and the thief is inside, taking all the door knobs and door plates off because they're gold or brass
Oh,
or something.
okay.
He's stealing stuff.
And then the man with the can approaches and the burglar hides. Because we just see the man's feet. We have no idea who he is, what he looks like, anything.
Right.
Burglar finds his way to a lab. I wrote
They're
this
trying
very
to hide.
green.
Yeah.
It's very green. It's a very green
Yes.
lab. Lots of
Yeah.
green lights.
Down in the basement.
And he stumbles upon a man apparently frozen in an aquarium, a large aquarium.
Man-size aquarium.
Man with the can enters the lab. He finds the burglar,
Yeah, the burglar knocks over something, of course, so he knows he's there.
and then we see the guy's face, and he has all burned up face, question mark, I wrote. Looks like it's all scarred and whatnot. They struggle. They knock over the aquarium holding the frozen guy, and the burglar, in the course of their fight, knocks over the can and the decapitated head comes out.
That was pretty good effect. It looked like a head.
And the burglar runs away, and the man removes the mask, and it is Dr. Frankenstein, or it's Peter Cushing, who we assume is Dr. Frankenstein. Because if you're seeing it for haven't seen any other ones, you don't know.
It's true. You don't know who it is, but we do. I will say, watching this scene unfold, he always has a bug out plan ready to go. In each scenario we get into, he can like bug out right away. Hey, you're already halfway through the podcast. What do you think? If you like what you hear, can you take a minute and follow us on social media? At Scary Spirits Podcast. We're on Instagram, Facebook, YouTube, and Twitter. Thanks so much for listening. Now let's get back to the show.
We see the burglar. He runs into a police officer, and police officer asks him how he got all covered in blood.
Which was from the head in the bucket. He's not stabbed or anything.
No. Cut back to the lab. Frankenstein gets rid of the body and the evidence of the can. He puts it down a hole in his floor.
A trap door in the floor that goes to the river or something. We hear this big splash. Good sound effects, like you were saying. But he just dumps the stuff in there. Then it turns out he leaves it open. You'd think he would close it and put a rug over it, delay the findings a little bit, you know?
Then we just see the burglar talking to the cops, tells them about the decapitated head.
He's in a little bit of shock.
Another police officer runs in and says that Dr. Heydrich, or whatever his name is, has been found and he has been decapitated.
I think they just found his body laying there.
Yeah.
So I'm not sure this is where we see it, but one of the police officers is a snuff addict.
Yeah, Inspector Fritsch.
So he keeps putting stuff up his nose. So just for educational purposes.
Yeah, I've always wondered what the deal was with snuff. What was the big deal?
In the 18th century, snuff, a finely ground powdered tobacco inhaled through the nose, was a popular and fashionable habit. It was seen as a mark of refinement and social status, with both men and women of all classes participating in the practice. Snuff taking became a widespread trend, especially in the English court after it was adopted by King Charles II. Snuff boxes, often elaborately decorated and made of precious materials, became symbols of wealth and social standing. Snuff was believed to have medicinal properties, with some believing it could relieve headaches and other ailments. The act of taking snuff involved a specific etiquette, including presenting the snuff box, taking a pinch, and inhaling the powder. I always thought it was cocaine.
No, I knew it was tobacco. That's why
I had no idea.
I didn't get the whole thing because I have ingested tobacco many ways, Karen, but never up my nose. I don't think I would like it.
There are different types, some with added fragrances, and the practice varied from fine powders to coarser, more pungent varieties. It doesn't look pleasant to me.
No, me either.
But he's consistent through the whole film. I don't know if the actor was somehow addicted and they just put it in there or they made him pretend to do it.
Then we see the police investigating a crime scene, I guess, and I think it's the coroner. I don't know. Says it looks like the guilty person is a doctor. I think it's just another cop, another
Yeah,
like
so
detective.
the head detective, it's almost like good cop, bad cop, but it's smart cop, not so smart cop. And the looked like the lower level guy was the one who was really figuring it out and telling the higher ranked guy, and then he would come around to the same conclusion. But yeah, they've noticed that it's probably a doctor.
Inspector Brish tells a police officer to find anyone who has purchased beakers and laboratory equipment in the last year, as well as any missing persons currently missing, whatnot. So then we see the inspector, I guess, talking to the mortician, the morgue guy. I don't know what he is. And apparently a body went missing.
Yeah, the mortuary attendant. He lost a body. And he is quite cheeky in answering the
Yeah, and
questions.
there's nothing really much to that except that we learn that the body's missing.
Yeah.
That's all that's for.
And he's like, well, we don't usually get visitors. Well, weren't you watching the bodies? Well, they don't get up and walk away. Like, he
Right.
was very cheeky in his answers.
So then Peter Cushing, Frankenstein, arrives at a boarding house and asks for a room.
So he's taken off and fled this scene and he's gone to another town.
Boarding house is run by Anna. He says he will be staying indefinitely, and he registers as Mr. Fenner. And we also learn that Anna is unmarried and runs the house by herself.
Yes. And there are four other guests there.
Cut to an asylum, I guess, woman screaming. Doctor gives her an injection.
She thinks she sees spiders or something.
Yeah. Professor Richter arrives, and a man we assume is a doctor asks about Dr. Brandt. Professor says he has a sick brain and he can never be cured. Then we see Frankenstein. I guess he's in the study. I call it the study at the boarding house, and all the other men who are boarders there are out sitting down there as well.
Well, first, before
Reading
he
their
comes
papers
in,
and smoking and drinking their brandy.
and they're all bad mouthing Frankenstein and saying how arrogant he is and he doesn't talk to them and whatever. And then he walks in his smoking jacket. Is that what they call those?
Yes. The other guys talk about Dr. Heinrich or whatever getting his head cut off and about mad Dr. Brandt.
I guess that's in the newspapers, right?
Yeah. Frankenstein listens. They talk about Dr. Brandt's theory about transplanting people's brains. And then they remember that there was a Dr. Frankenstein that did the same thing. So then, of course, they don't know he's Frankenstein, but Frankenstein turns to them and says, "Oh, I did not know you all were doctors."
Yeah, this is a good line.
And they say, "Oh, no, we're not doctors." And then he says, "Oh, I'm sorry. I thought you knew what you were talking about."
Yeah, pardon me. I thought you knew what you were talking about. I was like, ooh, I'm going to use that one.
And the other man I wrote, don't like his tone.
Yes, they call him rude, and he says, stupidity always brings out the worst in me. So this is our first inkling that he's not going to be nice through this thing. Although, going back to the first time we see him with the mask, which is a good mask, and he takes it off and throws it in the river, was that just so he wouldn't be recognized?
I guess.
Because they don't really explain the mask never comes back into
No,
play.
it never does.
But it was a good mask. So I was just,
He tells them that they talk about all this medicine and progress and whatnot. And he says that without progress, they would all still be eating in a cave, throwing their bones to the side.
it just said he insults them some more and leaves the room.
Then, who we learn is Dr. Carl from the asylum comes to see Anna.
And when he's coming in the door, he takes off his coat and something drops on the ground. But they kissy face.
And they're supposed to go to the theater that night. They kissy face. And Dr. Carl thinks maybe he wants you to just stay in.
Yeah, maybe we don't need to go to the theater. She's like, it took me 2 hours to get ready. We're going.
Yeah, she does. And then she gives him a brandy first. Anna is concerned about Dr. Carl getting her drugs, question mark.
Well, she brings up that she got a letter from her mom. Her mom sounds better, but her mom is in some sort of institution for not for I don't know, invalids or something because they need a lot of money to pay for her mom's medical costs. So
Uh,
they've come up with a scheme
yeah,
how to
he's
do
getting
that.
drugs to help Anna's mother.
He steals drugs from the asylum and sells them on the street.
Oh, okay. So he's doing it to get money. I thought he was like giving her the drugs. Okay,
No, he's selling them to get money so they can pay for her mother.
got it. Then Dr. Carl goes to grab his jacket and finds that a box is missing from his coat. He goes to look for it outside the door. Opens the door and Frankenstein is standing there
With the
and
box.
holding the box. And of course, he knows it's from the asylum and it contains cocaine. And he questions Dr. Carl and Anna.
Well, he overheard their conversation. So their conversation was, wow, I hope we don't get caught. This is really bad. It's highly illegal. I sure hope we don't get caught. Oh, we're never going to get caught. No one's going to know. So he heard them and found the drugs. So he's got them.
Anna and Dr. Carl try to leave. Frankenstein shuts the door.
Yeah, he knows. So they're pretending they don't know what he's talking about, but he's not going to let them leave. He's like, sit down and listen.
He threatens to turn them over to the Narcotics Bureau. And he says to Anna, can you imagine what you would look like after 10 years in prison? I'm sure Carl can. So he wants to make them an offer, basically, is what he says. And then we cut to
An offer
Anna,
they can't refuse. Yes.
Anna throwing out all the other tenants, and they are not happy.
No. Because that's part of his conditions. He's going to turn them in unless they do everything he says. And the first thing she has to do is get rid of everybody.
Cut to the inspector. He tells other offices that they're going to Ottenbury. Is that what he says? Ottenbury? Something like that. And that there have been 4 cases of
Rob. Yeah,
robbery
4
with
robberies.
medical and chemical equipment.
Yep.
Cut to Frankenstein and Dr. Carl stealing equipment. They're discovered by the night watchman. Carl kills them, and I wrote more hammer blood.
And now I thought Dr. Frankenstein's happy because young Carl has killed someone, so he's got more on him now.
Yes. Next day, or that evening, Anna questions Frankenstein about what happened. She says Carl hasn't spoken since they returned. He says, well, maybe you should go ask Carl. So she does. She goes to ask Carl, and he admits to killing the guy, tells Anna that she should leave, but she refuses. Frankenstein enters. Dr. Carl wants to know who Frankenstein really is, because at this point, they don't even know who he is.
Right.
Mr. Fenner. And then Frankenstein bitch slaps him, I wrote. And he tells him that he is Baron Frankenstein. Apparently, he asked Dr. Carl to get the plans of the asylum, so he looks them over, and he wants to know what cell Dr. Brandt is located in. He wants to break Dr. Brandt out of the asylum and cure his insanity. Dr.
Yeah, he
Carl
kept saying,
is
show me the
skeptical.
plan. And I thought, did Dr. Carl write out the plan? What's happening? And then he opens it and I said, oh, it's the construction plans for the asylum. I thought he like gave him homework to write up a plan.
And then he tells Anna to go make him some coffee.
Yeah, because Carl says, let Anna go. You don't need Anna. You
No,
only
first
need me.
he says, Anna, go make us some coffee. And then Dr. Carl says, you don't need Anna, let her go.
And he says, I need Anna to make us coffee. This is rude.
Back at the asylum, Mrs. Brandt is there visiting her husband, tries to talk to him. The guy there tells her there's no cure for him.
And she should stop visiting because he's heavily sedated every time she's there. He doesn't know she's there and he has violent, murderous rages.
Yeah. Tell her to stop visiting. Cut to Frankenstein and Dr. Carl. Apparently, we learned Dr. Brandt has a secret Frankenstein wants to know. He and Dr. Brandt had corresponded about how to transfer a brain to another person, and Dr. Brandt knows the secret to make it successful. Frankenstein wants to freeze the brains of geniuses all around the world to preserve them for all time.
It was like they're at the peak of their intelligence when they die. Why should it rot in the ground? Let's move it to someone else.
We see the police questioning someone about the most recent theft of medical equipment. Whoever killed the night watchman knew exactly where to put the knife. Again, pointing to a doctor.
Yes.
Cut to Dr. Carl at the asylum. He looks in on Dr. Brandt, who goes to cell 6 where the screaming woman is kept. And he goes to give her an injection, but he is stopped.
He's busted.
Cut to a foggy forest.
Yeah, there's our forest. It's there. Froggy's fog everywhere.
Dr. Carl meets Frankenstein. Dr. Carl tells him he was unable to inject the woman with the sedative. They enter the asylum. They sneak past the sleeping night watchman. Dr. Frankenstein takes the keys and hits him on the back of the head.
Yeah, he knocks him out.
They enter the cell of Dr. Brandt. They try to sedate him, but he struggles. They end up fighting. The woman in the other cell begins to scream. Frankenstein, in the struggle, drops his syringe. They drag Dr. Brandt out as the woman screams.
So why didn't he just knock him out like he did the guard? But whatever.
A man comes down to check on the woman. He finds a syringe on the ground, and he finds the night watchman on the floor, knocked out. He blows the whistle for the dogs. Dr. Carl and Frankenstein drag Dr. Brandt through the foggy forest. Anna waits at a coach.
And the German shepherds are coming out after him.
Yeah, Dr. Brandt escapes for a minute, and then I wrote, release the hounds, because here come the German shepherds.
Yep.
Carl and Frankenstein catch the doctor and bring him to the carriage. Cut to a lab. Frankenstein and Anna working on Dr. Brandt. Then we cut to police telling Mrs. Brandt that her husband was taken from the asylum. And then they question her about Baron Frankenstein. Mrs. Brandt says she has never met him and does not know where he is, doesn't even know what he looks like.
Right.
Dr. Carl arrives at the lab, and he listens to Dr. Brandt's heart. His heart is failing. Frankenstein wants to transfer Dr. Brandt's brain into another body to keep it alive. And he wants to use another surgeon. Professor Richter would be ideal. Then we cut to Anna in bed.
Because we need an Anna in bed scene. I mean,
well, duh. We
have to get the girl in the nightgown scene or it isn't a Hammer film.
She gets up and I said she puts on her house coat, but I don't think it's really, that's what you call it. But
no, it's a matching set of a nightgown and thin robe. I was like, I should get some of those.
She goes downstairs.
And it's not as see-through as Greg would like, but there are glimpses as she's going down the stairs. She's backlit and you can see through it and stuff. It's got the classic look.
It does. She goes downstairs, then she goes outside. And
to get some fresh air.
Yeah, she enters a room.
I think it's a shed out there.
A shed, and finds Carl. And the body of Dr. Brandt, or Dr. Richter, or Professor Richter.
Yes.
And Frankenstein enters and tells Anna to go back to bed. And then they carry Professor Richter's body down to the lab. So then we see Anna back in her room getting ready for bed, Karen.
Yeah, Carl must be somewhere. He must be somewhere.
Frankenstein walks down the hall and past her room, and her door is open. So he walks in. Anna asks him to leave, and he shuts the door behind him and locks it. Anna asks for the key. He holds it out in his hand to offer it to her. As she approaches, he throws it onto the bed. And she goes to the bed to get it, and she and Frankenstein struggle, I said. He rips her nightgown off, and he kisses her.
Yeah, it fades away. That's not all he does.
All right, so now I'm going to read from the Hammer Glamour book.
I was very disappointed in that scene.
I was too. So they're talking about her starring in this film. It says, this visceral and unrelenting film saw Hammer's most ruthless depiction of the Baron so far. Anna's torment is most memorably evoked by Veronica when a burst of water main beneath her garden exposes the mutilated corpse of Frankenstein's latest victim, which we will get there.
Yeah.
The most arduous scene, however, was a hastily written addition to the end of the schedule. Bowing to distributors' pressure, James Carreras ordered director Terence Fisher to shoot a sequence showing the Baron's rape of Anna. It proved a harrowing experience for everyone involved. though its damage to the film's narrative has been overstated. Veronica describes Peter Cushing as an exquisite man, and the two began a long and sincere friendship on the set of Frankenstein Must Be Destroyed. For Veronica's third and final film, however, Cushing stood aside as the younger Ralph Bates played the role in 1970's The Horror of Frankenstein. So no one was happy about this scene. Like Peter
And
Cushing wasn't happy.
it doesn't really add anything.
No one was happy. But the distributors wanted something like this, apparently. Yes, and she's on page 34, 35, 36, and 37, and elsewhere, if you look for her. I think she's on the very back dust cover here, Karen. All right, back to the film. We cut to the police station. Police talk about Professor Richter being taken from his home, and he's threatening the newspaper man that he wants no press about Dr. Richter or what he's going to do.
Which is very strange, but...
So then we see both bodies in the lab, Dr. Brandt and Dr. Richter, preparing for surgery. Anna enters with towels, and I wrote, she's very cold to Dr. Carl.
Yeah, well, she's traumatized.
She is. Then we have surgery, and Frankenstein saws through Dr. Brandt's skull, and I wrote, good sound effects. Cut to a brain in an aquarium, and then Frankenstein saws open Professor Richter's skull, and they take the brain from the aquarium and put it in Professor Richter. And then Frankenstein preaches about organ transplant for a minute.
Okay, I'm not sure if this is where they mention it, but it's somewhere like this, because Frankenstein basically says Knox had Burke and Hare to help him get bodies, and I have you. And he says that. So I didn't know what that meant. So I was curious. So there was a doctor, Robert Knox, who was a Scottish anatomist and ethnologist, best known for his involvement in the Burke and Hare murders.
There was a movie about Burke and Hare.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah,
basically, Burke and Hare murdered people in order to provide bodies for Dr. Knox.
Yeah, he paid them for the bodies. He didn't care how he got them.
Yeah, so there were 16 total that were murdered and sold. And Dr. Knox used them in his teaching facilities. It wasn't good. Let's just say that. But I didn't know what an ethnologist was. I know what an anatomist is. But an ethnologist is a specialist in ethnology, which is a branch of anthropology that studies and compares the characteristics of different people and cultures, including their origins, relationships, and distinctive traits. They study them in order to understand the similarities and differences between different societies. I didn't do a deep dive, but there was a little bit of, I think he was a bit of a racist in his studies, but it sort of implies that possibly he knew, because it's so famous that this was done, that he almost had to know that they were killing people at some point. Because I wonder if he was like, I'm looking for a Spanish man about 6'2" or something, like, because that's what he studied, were differences in cultures. And in order to get those differences, he would have to have those bodies. So it never said anywhere that he ordered specific people, but 16 people were murdered in order for him to do his studies. So that's what that was. I had never heard of it. So you obviously have.
Yes. They bury the body of Dr. Brandt in the garden.
Yes, because they've taken out his brain and put it in Richter's, and they must have just thrown Richter's away.
I guess. And Frankenstein tells Anna that he wants breakfast at 6:30 and wants 2 eggs lightly boiled.
I just keep saying through this whole thing, he's such a dick. He's such a dick.
He is. So then we cut to, I don't know, next day, whatever. Who knows? Anna walking through the streets in her lovely dress and hat.
Yes, there are nice hats in this. There are some good ones.
She sees that the police are searching all the houses.
She very indiscreetly turns around and races away.
Runs back and tells Frankenstein. Police arrive at the boarding house. They want to search the place, and Dr. Carl is painting the foyer, so he's covered the door to the lab.
With a tarp.
Yeah, Anna tells the police that she only has one boarder and he isn't there. Is that what she tells them?
Yeah.
Something like that. Police look around.
She's very nervous because where they buried Dr. Brandt, there's fresh plants buried in the garden.
Police officer recognizes that the man painting is Dr. Carl. He says, yeah, he's just there painting, helping his fiance. The officer asks if the house has a cellar. Anna tells him it does not. The police leave.
As they're locking out the door, he says, I hope he's a better doctor than he is a painter. I thought that was funny.
So then we see they're removing the bandages from Professor Richter's body.
Yeah, I don't know who we call it. Now we call it the creature,
Well,
maybe?
I called it Brandt the rest of the time because
Okay.
it's his
Because it's
brain.
his brain. Okay.
Yeah. Frankenstein talks about removing the cells that have been damaged by the madness on the top of his brain.
He does say it's all in the frontal lobe, and then in the motor area of the brain, and he touches the back of the skull. But the motor area of the brain is the region primarily responsible for planning, controlling, and executing voluntary movements. It includes the primary motor cortex, premotor cortex, and supplementary motor area, all located in the frontal lobe. They all work together to translate thoughts and intentions into physical actions, coordinating movements across multiple joints and muscle groups. But he goes, the motor area, and he touches the back of the skull and says, it's all in the frontal lobe. But whatever, it's fine. But then he's going to drill in. They put a little helmet on him, on Brandt.
Richter.
You
He
said you were
drills.
calling him Brandt now.
I know, but he's not Brandt yet. He drills a hole in the top of
Yes,
the
he is,
head
because his brain
to
is in
relieve
him.
the pressure. Then
Is he not Brandt
Frankenstein,
till he wakes up?
so then Frankenstein sticks a metal rod in the top of the Professor Richter's head.
He's going
It
to
looks
pith
like he's
him.
doing a lobotomy or something
Yeah.
to me, but whatever. And then they bandage the wound. Frankenstein says he will revive him in 2 days. Cut to Mrs. Brandt walking through the streets with another woman wearing their fine dresses and hats. She sees Dr. Frankenstein and thinks he looks familiar to her.
Yeah, and he's putting like a flower in his buttonhole. And remember, he was
Yes.
doing that in the
Yes, he
previous film,
was.
all the flowers. There's something to that. I just don't know what it is.
Woman stops at the boarding house to see if Anna needs anything from the store. Just then,
Yeah,
the
in the
water
backyard.
main breaks in the where they buried Dr. Brandt's body.
It's a pretty neat scene, actually.
The woman runs out to get help or whatever, and then we see Dr. Brandt's arm is exposed from the water shooting up.
And it's kind of waving because the water's pushing it.
Anna pulls the body from the flower bed. She drags him into another flower bed. She gets all wet. The woman re-enters and tells her that help is on the way, and Anna just tells her to go away.
Just for the love of God, go away.
Then we cut to Mrs. Brandt watching Frankenstein enter the boarding house. He arrives
So
to find
she's
the
followed
garden.
him to see
Yes.
where he is. Yeah.
He arrives to find the garden being dug up. Workers tell him it's all fixed, the water main, but Anna kind of motions that the body's over here, whatever.
Yeah, she like does the side eye, like, it's over here, don't worry. She took care of it for him.
And we see Mrs. Brandt talking to the woman she was walking with.
Yeah, it looks like they're in a library or something, going through a bunch of newspapers. I think she's trying to find a picture of Dr. Frankenstein.
Yeah, she shows the other woman a caricature from a newspaper that she thinks looks like Dr. Frankenstein.
And it does. I mean, you can tell it's her husband and someone else, right?
Yeah.
And it looks like him a little bit.
Frankenstein revives Professor Richter. He has him raise his hand. There's a knock at the door. Mrs. Brandt arrives and asks to see Dr. Frankenstein. She says she is Mrs. Brandt. Frankenstein hears this and introduces himself to her.
As Dr. Frankenstein. Anna's
He
trying to
does.
say there's no
Yes.
Dr. Frankenstein here and she's trying to close the door on her, but
Frankenstein tells her that Dr. Brandt is there and that he apologizes for taking him. It was the only way to cure him. Mrs. Brandt accuses Frankenstein of making her husband go mad. Frankenstein says he is downstairs right now and is sane. Frankenstein shows Mrs. Brandt the body. He is all bandaged up so she cannot see him. She does not believe Frankenstein. Frankenstein asked her what Dr. Brandt remembered when he was mad, and she says absolutely nothing. So then Frankenstein begins questioning Dr. Brandt, has him raise his hand
Yeah,
to
he's going to prove
answer.
to her that he's fixed him,
He
cured him.
asked him if his wife's name is Ella, which she tells him it is, and he raises his hand. And then Frankenstein has Ella ask him questions, and she asked if she recognizes her voice, and he raises her hand. And then she questions him about her hair color. So he knows what color hair she has. Frankenstein tells Mrs. Brandt she must not speak of this to anyone because he is seriously broken the law. Mrs. Brandt thanks Dr. Carl for helping as well, and then he kind of looks like remorseful, like I don't really want to help. Then Mrs. Brandt leaves, and Frankenstein tells Dr. Carl, "Pack your bags, we're leaving."
Yes, as soon as the door closes. Another bug out plan. See, I mean, he's ready.
They leave in a carriage. Mrs. Brandt comes back like the next day or whenever and finds no one at the boarding house. She enters and discovers the lab is empty. Cut to Mrs.
Why did
Brandt.
he do that? Why didn't he just say, there's no one here by that name and then leave? Because now she's going to go to the police. Like, it would have taken her a couple days to really know it was him. I didn't understand why he did this.
I don't know. Cut to Mrs. Brandt talking to the police. She tells them that Dr. Brandt is alive and knew her name.
She says, I should have come here sooner. And the police inspector says, yeah, you were stupid for not doing that. People are brutal in this film.
Police find the body of Dr. Brandt
In the shed underneath the floorboards.
show Mrs. Brandt, and she screams. Cut to a big abandoned old house. It looks like Karen.
Yep.
Frankenstein sneaking around. He's a sneaky snake. Dr. Carl finds Frankenstein reviving Dr. Brandt.
He overhears him saying it's going to have to go faster than we expected.
Dr. Carl tells Anna to go to the stables and harness the horses very quietly. He tells Anna that Frankenstein is reviving Dr. Brandt tonight, and once he has what he wants, he will leave them there.
Yes, he heard him talking.
They make a plan to get the carriage before he does.
Except she doesn't know how to harness the horses, she says. So that's a bit of a glitch.
Frankenstein tells Dr. Carl that they will be staying there for a few days at least. Cut to Brandt beginning to revive. Dr. Carl and Anna say they're going to bed.
Neither one is.
Dr. Brandt rips the bandages from his head. He is unfamiliar with his hands. He gets
Yeah, I
up
was
and
looking
looks
at that. If you looked at your hands, would you know they weren't your hands?
Yes. Absolutely.
I guess if it was another one, yeah, I guess it, but it was just like he's coming out of his sleep and he's realizing he's not in his own body.
He gets up and looks at his reflection, and he is not happy. Frankenstein hears a noise and looks out the window to see Dr. Carl heading to the stable. Anna goes to the lab and finds Dr. Brandt. He asks her for help. Anna pulls
She
the
was supposed to go
scalpel on.
down there, and Dr. Carl wanted her to get the syringe that was next to the bed to see how much Dr. Frankenstein had given him of the revival fluid, so he would know how long it was going to take for him to wake up. But it looks like Frankenstein miscalculated because Brandt's already up and ripped off his bandages and walking around the room.
Dr. Brandt questions Anna about Frankenstein. She gets scared and runs away. Dr. Brandt chases her and she stabs him. Frankenstein finds Dr. Carl in the stable. They fight.
Yeah, and this is where I said Peter Cushing is very athletic.
Frankenstein finds that Dr. Brandt is gone. He questions Anna. She tells Frankenstein.
Wait, so while they're fighting in the stable, the two of them, the horses are just like standing there. Like they're not reacting to this huge scuffle right in front of them. They're just standing there. It's kind of funny. But yeah. So Frankenstein comes in, follows the blood trail, sees Anna on the stairs. She's in a bit of shock because she stabbed someone.
She tells Frankenstein she stabbed him, and then Frankenstein turns the scalpel on Anna and stabs her.
So this is a very violent Frankenstein.
Dr. Carl arrives, finds the body of Anna. Dr. Brandt, on a journey, making his
He
way
looks like
home.
he was trying to get into a surgery ward. And I was like, that's very impressive because he's stabbed the same way Anna was. Anna's dead on the stairs and he's climbing through a window. I thought it said surgery on the side. I thought he was going to go, maybe he did stitch up his own wound, but he also got new clothes and then went
Yeah,
on a
maybe he
journey.
did. He gets to his house, he breaks in, and he goes to see his wife asleep. Next morning, Frankenstein on a stagecoach. Mrs. Brandt wakes up and reads a note by her bed. Dr. Brandt tells her that he is her husband. He hides behind a screen
Yeah, dressing screen.
and talks of when she questioned him when his face was bandaged. He tells her his brain is in someone else's body. He tells her that Frankenstein is going to come for him because he wants the formula, he wants the secret. He tells her
But
that
he
he
doesn't
can,
need it. Why does he need the secret? He just did the procedure.
I don't know.
Unless it has to do with freezing the brain or something. I can't remember. But he's like, well, obviously he was successful at it.
He tells her he cannot risk her going to the police. He was going to keep her there, but he will release her when the time is right. See Dr. Brandt in his office looking through a bookcase and finds a file that was hidden in like a safe behind the books.
I think that's what Dr. Frankenstein wants. That's the research files.
Then we cut to Mrs. Brandt. She gets a ladder apparently and escapes through a trap door in the ceiling.
Well, so he locks the door to the room, but there's a second door in the room that she goes through and then I think what she did was went up through the attic and then came down in a different part of the house.
I guess. She winds up upstairs and goes downstairs as Dr. Brandt is arranging lanterns
Yeah,
in
he's
the
gathering
house.
up all the
She's,
oil lanterns.
she sees him and faints. Dr. Brandt tells her he did not want her to see him. He gives her some brandy. He tells her that he would not harm her. Mrs. Brandt tells him he is not anything human, and she goes to grab a gun, but he stops her. He asks her if she would kill him, and she says she would.
Yep.
She asks why he has come here, and he says for revenge.
Do you not think I deserve revenge? I said, why is he going to set his own house on fire?
He throws a flammable liquid around the house. Frankenstein arrives. Dr. Carl is on his way as well, we see. Dr. Brandt lets Mrs. Brandt escape. Frankenstein enters the house. Dr. Brandt confronts Frankenstein. Frankenstein wants to continue the research. Dr. Brandt tells Frankenstein that the file he wants is in his study. Mrs. Bryant leaves to contact the police. Mrs. Brandt leaves to contact the police. Dr. Brandt throws a lamp, catching the house on fire. He toys with Frankenstein, I wrote. Every time he heads for a door to get the file, Dr. Brandt throws a lamp at that door. And he keeps saying, wrong door.
Yeah.
Then at last, there's only one door left, and Frankenstein enters the room where the file is, and Dr. Brandt throws in another lamp. He sets the whole place on fire.
Good fire.
Frankenstein, yeah, it was. Frankenstein makes a torch of some papers and burns Dr. Brandt's face and runs out of the house.
Right out the front door. But he trips over Carl
Yeah,
at the front door.
Frankenstein runs out, runs into Dr. Carl. They fight. Dr. Brandt comes out and kicks Dr. Carl off of Frankenstein and carries
Like,
him
he's
into the
mine.
burning house.
He's mine to kill.
Frankenstein revives as he's being carried into the burning house, and he screams no and fights with Dr. Brandt. The house goes up in flames. The end. Credits.
And the file is on the front lawn right next to Dr. Carl.
Oh, is it? I
Yeah.
didn't even notice.
So sequel potential on multiple angles there. Will Dr. Carl now that Anna's gone, Dr. Carl might revive her or something.
She is in the next film.
Maybe he took her brain or took a brain. I don't know. Anyway,
All right, what'd you think of the Frankenstein's monster, Karen?
it's good. It's a lanai.
It's a lot of liquid. Mine is not near it.
Yeah, you have not done well with
Slacking.
that.
I have quite a lot left. It's a
It's
big
tasty
drink.
though. It's a big drink.
Anything we learned today, Karen?
Oh, what did we learn? We learned about the motor area of the brain and the frontal lobe. We learned about Robert Knox and the Burke and Hare murders, what an ethnologist is, all that you want to know about snuff. I think that's it. You said, what's the title for the guy who does sound effects?
Foley. It's a Foley expert.
Yeah, that's you brought that up.
All right. Anyone you need to thank this week, Karen?
Well, we need to thank our listener, of course. There's a lot of podcasts out there. Thank you for spending time with us. What about you, Greg? Who do you need to thank?
Karen, I'm going to once again thank the band Verse 13 for providing all of the music in the Scary Spirits podcast.
Music definitely makes the podcast better.
Anything else, Karen?
Please drink responsibly.
Yes.
Hey, it's Karen, and I'm here to talk to you about getting social with us. Did you know you can follow us on Facebook, Instagram, and YouTube at Scary Spirits Podcast? Or check out our website, scaryspirits.com. If you have something to say, email us at info@scaryspirits.com. And as always, thanks so much for listening. Please drink responsibly.